free at 877-DRUG-JIVE or go to radio.
Drone and missile attacks by militants on container ships in the Red Sea could soon contribute to global inflation.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 Generative AI, verified traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. Learn more at c3.ai. And by Betterment, the automated investing platform that helps make it easy to be invested for the long term. Learn more at betterment.com. Investing involves risk.
I'm David Brancaccio. A company that runs a booking platform for international cargo says shipping rates have more than doubled for certain routes through the Red Sea after attacks on ships in the region. Here's Marketplace's Nova Safo.
Shipping rates have increased the most for routes between Asia and Europe and the Mediterranean. But booking platform Freightos says rates are also rising for shipments headed to North America. That's in large part because avoiding the Red Sea means ships have to take a longer route around the African continent. Prices began skyrocketing over the New Year's weekend after Yemen's Houthi rebels on boats sped toward a container ship operated by Maersk while firing at the vessel. The shipping giant, along with rival Hapag-Lloyd, canceled plans to resume some shipments through the Red Sea. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Market. Since the weekend, the NASDAQ stock index has fallen 2.8%. The S&P has fallen 1.4%. This morning, NASDAQ futures are down 0.4%. S&P futures, I see, are little changed, and Dow futures are up 0.2%. There's news just now. A private sector count of people on payrolls finds 164,000 more people were on those payrolls in December. This is a stronger than expected outcome. This uses the payroll company ADP's data. The official hiring and unemployment reports don't come out until tomorrow morning.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Charles Schwab. Schwab believes every investor deserves to work with a firm they can count on. That's why Schwab has financial consultants ready to serve their clients, plus professional answers and 24/7 live help. Learn more at schwab.com. And by UiPath. More than 10,000 organizations use the UiPath AI-powered business automation platform to put AI to work. UiPath.com/marketplace. UiPath, the foundation of innovation.
A bill in the California legislature would create a first-of-its-kind agency to administer economic reparations for slavery, if lawmakers were to approve reparations in that state. State Senator Stephen Bradford introduced the bill to create the agency last summer with a vote possible in the California legislature this year, but that would just be the first step. Elected officials in California would also have to approve reparations and money for them. Among key questions, what should reparations look like and who would be eligible? Here's reporter Lee Hawkins with the second part of our series this week.
Eligibility was a topic of fierce debate for the California Reparations Task Force as it put together an 1,100-page report that was published in June. Here's where they landed. Economic reparations should only be granted to Black American residents whose lineage can be traced back to enslaved ancestors or to those who arrived before the 20th century. Task Force member and UC Berkeley professor Jovan Scott Lewis played a major role in shaping this, despite coming to the United States from Jamaica.
The policies that we're talking about, the history of policies, were directed towards this particular community that emerged out of slavery in this country. You're talking about the Black Code, you're talking about Jim Crow, you're talking about these foundational policies being directed against a very particular community.
California State Senator Stephen Bradford was also on the task force. He sees paying reparations to only Black people who meet these criteria as an important first step.
It's a hierarchy. We want to start with those folks who are clearly descendants of 250 years of wage theft in this country, first and foremost. And then we're going to kind of build out from there.
Bradford's agency would have the job of determining which candidates meet the criteria, mainly by looking at a range of historical records, things like baptism certificates, mortgages, life insurance policies, church records, and other legal documents. In the United States, government policies have historically favored white Americans, leading to a significant wealth gap with Black Americans. In California, this wealth gap is wide. One study showed that in Los Angeles, the median value of liquid assets for native-born African American households was $200, compared to $110,000 for white households. Lewis pointed out that the task force cited discriminatory 20th century policies such as redlining, black people being denied the GI Bill, and segregation in education.
You know, people forget that University of California as a public institution used to be free. And it was only until the Civil Rights Act, right? You know, at the point when African Americans began attending the University of California, that then Governor Ronald Reagan institutes an actual tuition fee.
The Reverend Dr. Amos Brown, president of the San Francisco NAACP, who was also on the California State Reparations Task Force, believes the proposal could eventually be expanded to include black folks not descending from slavery in the U.S., but he stressed the importance of not compromising this effort now.
I think we have to understand, if we get one battle through, the next battle can be for those from the Caribbean. And you got to remember, there are other countries who owe something. You got to begin somewhere.
While the experience of blackness is shared globally, he said, the specific harms and policies in the U.S. were directed at a very distinct community. Lewis says the task force approved its eligibility recommendation by a narrow vote of 5-4. It's proof of just how complex and sensitive the reparations issue promises to be in 2024, including within the Black American community.
It was really important because there is a community who has been fundamentally harmed in this country through slavery and through the policies that followed slavery. And that particular community does deserve recognition. And reparations is one way to provide that recognition.
Our series with reporter Lee Hawkins is called Golden Promises, the battle over slavery reparations in California. Tomorrow we'll look at alternatives to reparations that some see as more politically feasible. One extra note of context, California now faces a budget deficit in the range of $68 billion. All of our stories are accumulating at marketplace.org if you miss them on the air. I'm David Brancaccio with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.